Hey guys, it's Julia Ehrman. We moved our family all the way from Washington to Tennessee almost 2 years ago. And I have one of my best friends from Washington here, Emily. And we're going to talk about what it was like to move my two kids with disability all the way from Washington to Tennessee. Emily actually came with me to move our kids because here's the story. Is when we were moving, we decided that it was best for my husband to pack up the truck and he was going to do the long haul travel across the country all the way from Washington to Tennessee by himself. But I was unable to fly with two kids with disability alone. And so my friend Emily decided to come with me. And first off, as you guys hear from Emily today, I think it's going to be so interesting. But I'm going to have her share why she said yes to the journey, because I don't know if in my right mind I would say yes to helping somebody else with two kids with disability on a plane for 5 hours?
I think longer with the 2 flights.
Why did you say yes?
I said yes because I love you. Yeah, and I think that people that have the time and the energy for a journey like that might be in short supply.
Yeah.
With how busy our lives are, and people don't know how to take time to serve friends and family and take time away from their own families and work.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things that we've realized as parenting two kids with disability is that sometimes, one, we have to ask for help from people, but also like having people in our lives who aren't busy with little kids is something that has been really important to us, because I think one of the gifts in our friendship is the fact that Emily doesn't have kids yet. And so she was able to say yes to helping us on that moving journey, which sounds kind of crazy, but it was a big deal. And so I think it would be cool to talk about like some of the things that we did just like systematically to set our kids up for success, my kids up for success on this journey, because we knew it was going to be a full day journey. So let's walk through the schedule a little bit.
We were dead.
We were dead by the time we ended up here. So, okay. So, and here's the thing. So I was living in Cleveland, Washington, which is an hour and a half away from the airport. Also, it was still winter. There was snow on the ground. We had to drive over this mountain pass. So I think I woke the kids up at 4 a.m. One of my other girlfriends got us all in the car. We loaded all of our stuff. And then we had decided that Emily would be best to start the journey fresh. So there was a reason why my support person didn't spend the night with us the night before. Does that make sense, right? So Emily met us at the airport. She was all fresh. I was exhausted. I'd been living in an empty house for a week, and we planned it specifically so that the day that we came here, that my husband would already be here and have set up our kids' beds. So we met at the airport at like 7 a.m. or something crazy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And
it might have actually been earlier. I think
maybe it was
flight
earlier.
might have been at 7.
Yeah, our flight was at 7.
It was really, really early. It was dark outside when we got to the airport, and it was April. Yeah, so it was still dark.
And I remember that one of the things that helped us, but also ended up hindering us, was we had a double stroller. Because we were like, how are we going to get these two kids with disability? Hazel can walk, but she's like clumsy walking, okay? She's not walking a mile. And so we had this double stroller. You remember?
Yeah.
And the double stroller, like one of the wheels was back. Emily had all the bags. I'm pushing both kids in the double stroller. Let's just say it was a little intense.
Yeah. It's very consuming. So much time goes by and you think it's just a flash because you have to be so present. I remember not being able to think about what time it was, think about work, think about anything going on at home. Meanwhile, the sun is rising. Our flight is, our flight is getting closer and closer. And I remember just being like, oh, wow, that couple hours just went by really fast.
Yeah.
And we're already so exhausted.
Yeah.
There's a photo that I took of Hazel and I, and my eyes are all red and I look like I've been crying, which I haven't been. It was actually a really fun morning, even though it was really intense, but I remember it being really fun. And I looked just exhausted because it was early morning. It's really intense.
And I think that one of the points, if you are a parent with special needs kids, because I've had several of you reach out to me and ask about our journey. One thing for me that was really important is I needed somebody with like a really positive, happy, excited energy to do the travel with me. I knew if my husband and I did the travel piece together, we were already just coming into it both really burnt out.
Yeah.
And so to have somebody new actually was a huge benefit for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got loaded up. I remember before we got on the plane, we were like, okay, we're going to eat. We're going to make sure the kids are well fed. And we even were going to attempt to give Hazel some like sleep med to see if she would sleep on the plane.
Yeah,
but,
which I don't think
sleep med didn't work.
It didn't even touch her.
She's like
I
bouncing. And here's the thing is that on the flight, they wouldn't let her sit in our lap. She had to sit in her own seat.
She was older than 2.
Yeah, so we had purchased, and if you want a link to this, send me a message on Instagram at Julia. We purchased a seatbelt latch system that attaches to the airplane seat. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't hold her down. So it was like everything in us to hold her down.
Yeah.
To be in her seatbelt while they're taking off and landing.
Yeah.
Because the flight attendants were pretty intense about that. But magically, they both slept.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how. There's like no tips or tricks there.
I think it did help Hazel that once she could get out of her seatbelt and wiggle around a little bit, I think that freedom just helped her calm down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we landed in Atlanta, and Atlanta is a 3-hour drive from where we live. And so basically we rented a car, and we had then a 3-hour drive. And I think the drive was worse than the flight.
It was.
Because Russell cried the entire time, and we were just so anxious to get here. We were moving. We were going to our new house. I didn't know how the kids were going to react. Yeah.
I stayed with, was it both kids or just Hazel for you to go get the rental car?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So we get off the plane, and then we're like, the Atlanta airport is massive. And just so you know, the rental car place is not right there. Right. So we're trying to figure out where the rental car place is. I ended up getting in a taxi with Hazel, who was 4 at the time.
So I had Russell.
4? Yeah, you had Russ. And I don't even know where we went. The whole time I was thinking, if we get kidnapped, I don't even know. And I've watched TikToks about the Atlanta airport, so please be careful if you go there, especially with kids. A surprising challenge that I didn't really think about. So if you are planning to fly into Atlanta with kids and get a rental car, make sure you look that up beforehand, like how to get to the rental car place.
Well, I mean, so it's a 3-hour drive from either Nashville or Atlanta, or, so that's right. We actually only took one flight into Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then we drove the rest of the way.
Yep.
And I think that was just logistically because of the kids.
Yeah.
Or you can fly into Knoxville or Chattanooga.
Yeah, I would have, if I could have done
2
it
flights.
again, I would have spent the extra money and flown into Nashville, because Nashville airport is so much more manageable.
Yeah.
Atlanta airport is just intense.
Or,
Nashville, you're like,
yeah.
this is the best place ever. You just like walk in, walk out. So easy. Or Chattanooga.
Or the 2 flights with a shorter drive.
Yeah. So what do you think would be like your biggest piece of advice to someone who's thinking about doing a big move, like from Washington or California to Tennessee, for somebody who has kids in general? What would be your advice?
Drive the area.
Yeah.
I am seeing this through the lens of a realtor back home is what I do. And so I would say anywhere you're moving that you're unfamiliar with, make sure you drive the area. Get into the side streets, go into the nooks and crannies of that area. Lean on your realtor. Make sure they're a full-time, well knowledgeable about the market.
And be careful about who you hire as a realtor.
Yeah.
Because we actually had multiple realtors that we had to fire before we got the one that got this house for us, because they were so sleazy and all they wanted was our money.
I think just seeing it through my lens, I think that people get complacent and they kind of, I think that, I don't know if it's laziness or distraction, or some people are just not full-time.
Yeah.
Some people have other careers, and definitely lean on a very knowledgeable full-time realtor in that area.
Yeah.
They'll be able to negotiate things on your behalf based on your needs. And so don't be shy about what you're looking for. Don't be shy about your needs.
And wait for the right thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Like we've seen, the only people that I've seen in my moving journey that have moved here and hated it, really, in all honesty, are the people who bought sight unseen and did not come for the inspection.
Yeah.
And they literally, first time they saw their house, which I know there's people watching this video right now. Like, you probably are living in Tennessee right now and you're like, yep, that was me. I think that's a big mistake that people are making right now.
I want to really get to know what it feels like to be in that area before you live there, which can be hard to do depending on how much time you're spending.
How much money you have.
How much money you have. Yeah, exactly.
Time that you have to travel.
Yeah.
And if you have kids, you have no time to travel. So
visit the grocery stores. Visit the little, just the little town centers. Make sure that you're seeing all the little neighboring towns too.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think that's probably my biggest piece of advice. Who are you hiring to help you with your home buying process? Make sure that they're not having you pay a bunch of money for extra things as part of the deal that don't work or are broken or things that you're going to have to replace anyway. I think is a big one. And drive the area. Go see what's in your area. Yeah. Because there could be a better area out there for you. That you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you want to know more about what it's like to live in Tennessee on a small farm that we've been building for the last 2 years, go follow me on Instagram at @ErmanJulia. Thank you so much for watching this video. But more than that, thank you, Emily, for sharing your experience. This is her first YouTube video ever. And I really thought that the insight would be something that you guys would love. So I'll see you guys back here later. Bye.